Hey everyone, today's lesson is a review over the order of operations. Once again, order of operations, we're talking PEMDAS. So looking at this first example, we do not have parentheses, do not have exponents, but we do have multiplication. I want to do the multiplication first. So the multiplication is these two numbers, -5 and 4. So I'm bringing down the 17. -5 times 4 gives me -20. And then bring down the divided by 2. So parentheses, exponents, we just did multiplication, now we're going to do division. And division is these two numbers. So I bring down the 17. -20 divided by 2 gives me -10. Then 17 minus 10 gives me 7. Looking at my second example, I do not have parentheses, I do not have exponents, but I do have multiplication. So I'm going to do the multiplication part first. So looking at multiplication, it's these two numbers. So I'm just bringing everything else down just like I see it. 5 times a -2 gives me -10. Multiplication, now I'm going to do division. Division are these two numbers. So I'm bringing everything else down. So 40, -32 divided by 8 gives me -4. Bring down my -10. Then from here, I don't have any addition, I have subtraction. They're all subtracting. So I don't have to break this up into 2 steps. I can put all of this in my calculator. If I wanted to break it up into 2 steps, then it would be the 40 minus the 4 gives me 36. 36 minus 10 gives me 26. From here, this would have given you the same answer as well. All right, no parentheses. I do have exponents this time. So I'm just bringing everything down like I see it. 8 squared gives me 64. I don't have any multiplication, but I do have division. So division are these two numbers. -14 divided by 7 gives me -14 divided by 2 gives me -7. I'm going to do my addition next, which are these two numbers. So bringing down my 35, -7 plus 64 gives me 57. Adding those two numbers together, I get 92. All right, from here I have parentheses now, so I'm going to go ahead and simplify my parentheses. So 4 minus 7 gives me -3, bringing everything else down. Now I have exponents. With this is actually a really good example. When I put this in my calculator, I'm actually going to use the parentheses button, -3 squared. I'm going to get a +9. If I did not use my parentheses button and I were to just put it in like this, I'm going to get a completely different number. I'm going to get a -9. When I think of exponents, this is the same as me saying -3 times -3. A squared means I just times it by itself twice. Negative times negative crosses out. 3 times 3 gives me the +9. So it's going to be really important when we're putting this in our calculator that we're putting it in correctly. So I took care of my parentheses, I took care of my exponents. Now I'm going to look to see if I have any multiplication, which I do. So multiplication are these two numbers. Bringing the 9 down, -6 times 7 gives me negative 42. Bring down my 20. Addition is next, which are these two numbers. Negative 42 plus 20 gives me negative 22. 9 minus 22 gives me negative 13. I'm going to skip down to problem number 7. I have parentheses, so I'm going to do those first. Bringing down the 1. Negative 2 minus 7 gives me negative 2 minus 5 gives me negative 7. I'm bringing everything else down. Took care of my parentheses, and I'm going to do my exponents, which would be here. This is going to be another example, just like 4, where my number that I'm squaring is negative, so in my calculator, I'm going to put in the parentheses. Negative 7 times negative 7, or negative 7 squared, gives me a positive 49. And then everything else I'm just going to bring down. So from here, I'm going to do my multiplication. So I'm going to bring down everything. Negative 4 or negative 3 times positive 4 gives me negative 12. Addition next. 1 plus 49 gives me 50. And then I can subtract that 12 to get 38. Just like the first day when we did order of operations and we had fractions, I will break this up into 2 smaller pieces. So I'm going to do the top part first where I have parentheses. So I'm going to just rewrite that 6, simplify my parentheses by saying 2 plus 4 gives me 6. So I'm bringing it and simplifying that. When I simplify that, anytime I have a number by a parentheses, it's the same as multiplication. So that's why I wrote the multiplication. Looking at the bottom, I don't have any parentheses, don't have any exponents, but I do have multiplication. So I'm going to do that first. 2 times 3 gives me 6. And then I'm just going to write down my plus 1. Simplifying the top again, I have multiplication. 6 times 6 gives me 36. And then I can go ahead and I'm left to my last step on the bottom. 6 plus 1 gives me 7. To simplify the top, I'm left with my last step. And now I can divide these two numbers. 35 divided by 7 gives me 5. All right, and then last example I'm going to do with you guys is number 9. Again, I have a fraction, so I'm going to simplify the top first. I don't have parentheses, but I do have exponents. So 2 to the 5th power. When I put that in my calculator, I'm going to do 2, then the caret button, 5 to get 32. Writing everything else just the way I see it. Now the bottom, there is only one step, and that's the addition. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I don't have to do anything else. I don't have parentheses, exponents, multiplication, or division. On the top, my next step is to do my division. So 32 divided by 8 gives me 4. Just going to write everything else the way I see it. My top, I have one more step left. The 4 plus 3 gives me 7. Rewriting the bottom. 7 divided by 7 gives me 1. And that is it for today.